Well, good morning, and welcome to Kent. I'm King County Executive Dow Constantine. I want to thank everyone for being here today for what is one of the most anticipated moments in my time in office, the launch of Best Starts for Kids. It started a few years ago on a visit to the University of Washington's Institute for Learning and Brain Sciences. I and my staff were there, and we saw the potential for us to be able to put every baby born and every child raised in this county on a path to lifelong success. I wanted to make this important research, this groundbreaking research, available to parents and to caregivers so that every child and youth in our region can reach adulthood healthy and resilient and ready to flourish and participate in this remarkable region and this remarkable economy that we have. Just over a year ago, voters in King County overwhelmingly approved a 6-year levy that will help us turn this research into results. Now, with council approval of the implementation plan in hand, I am pleased to announce that we are ready to deliver on the promise of Best Starts for Kids to help all children and youth in our region achieve their full potential. I made this commitment to the people of King County, and I made the commitment that we would invest in what works. And that's exactly what we're going to do with this very first initiative, which will prevent youth and families in our region from becoming homeless. Come on, Councilmember Gossett. It is based on it. When you join Councilmember McDermott in Up the Grove. So this first program is based on a highly successful pilot project that was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's an approach that is very simple, deceptively simple. It simply starts with case managers asking this one important question: what do you need to avoid becoming homeless? By customizing our response, whether it's appropriate clothing for a job interview, or whether it's help with that damaged deposit or the first month's rent, we are going to be better able to help people succeed. And this is less expensive, far less expensive than having folks fall into homelessness and then providing emergency shelter or providing all the other measures we need to try to get people rehoused. That stability is a bargain. But it's more than that. It prevents children from suffering the trauma of homelessness. And we know from that University of Washington research and other research that the trauma of housing insecurity, the trauma of homelessness, can affect their very brain development and can have lifelong impacts on those kids. So by applying this proven approach, we will ensure that more children and more families in our region have a safe, healthy, warm place to live. And that is the foundation, the secure basis for them to be able to then take on the other challenges in their lives and go on to success. And we will succeed by working with 27 community-based nonprofit organizations that successfully competed for the first round of funding. That includes our host today, Mother Africa, which helps women who came here as immigrants and refugees from across the African continent successfully transition into their new home. They provide resources and skill building to help women and children thrive. Now, with the support of Best Starts for Kids, Mother Africa and all these other community-based organizations will be able to help mothers who are teetering on the verge of homelessness so that they can instead focus on their kids, on their children's long-term happiness and well-being. And finally, I have some more good news to share. I am pleased to announce $41 million in funding to increase the inventory of affordable housing, helping people transition out of homelessness and reducing the number of people who experience homelessness in the first place. This will help develop 828 new units of affordable housing in regions all across King County. And most of these homes will be located near major transit centers, which creates high-density, mixed-income neighborhoods and dramatically reduces costs for those residents of transportation and increases their access to opportunity. And more than 200 of these units are dedicated to those who are transitioning out of homelessness. And that includes veterans who have served their country and returned here and are struggling to reintegrate into civilian life. And it includes people with disabilities who may be having trouble finding a home. We are also providing services and rental assistance for those individuals, so not simply handing them the key and expecting success to happen in every case, but bringing the services that will help them get to stability, making sure that they succeed as they transition out of homelessness, and making sure they will always have a warm and safe place to live. These combined actions focused on prevention and customized interventions will help the health and the well-being of children and youth and families throughout King County. It will make our region into more of the kind of just and equitable and prosperous, broadly prosperous place that we all want it to be. I want to thank everyone who helped make this shared accomplishment possible. I want to thank our friends at the University of Washington who once again have generated the research and ideas that are providing an opportunity for us to innovate and make our community better. The experts and community leaders who helped strengthen this plan, including Barbara Langdon, who is co-chair of the Children and Youth Advisory Board and is here today, and finally, to the King County Council for being strong partners as we move forward together. And speaking of the council, it is my honor to be able to introduce the chair of the King County Council, Joe McDermott.
Thank you, Executive Constantine, not only for inviting myself and several colleagues to join you today at this press conference, but for your leadership in establishing the Best Starts for Kids levy and making sure that every child in our community has the opportunity to achieve their full potential. Thank you. As Council Chair, I'm looking forward to our continued collaboration in this most important effort before us. We're here to celebrate an important first step toward our collective work on Best Starts for Kids, to ensure that every young person in King County has a safe and stable place to call home. The organizations that will be working directly with young people and their families, like Mother Africa, will be essential to our success. These partnerships, these contracts, are really how service is delivered and how the Best Starts for Kids levy will be successful in communities across the county. One of the things that makes Best Starts for Kids unique is that we are tackling barriers through prevention, intervention, and follow-up. This approach will allow more benefits for children and families. It will keep families in homes, keeps kids in school instead of in our justice system, and it will give kids and families more opportunities for their future in the short and long range. These investments will achieve concrete results that make a difference in people's lives. We will be constantly measuring and recalibrating our approach to maximize benefits. More and more families and individuals are finding themselves without a safe and stable home. We all know that homelessness has reached a crisis level in our community. The county is addressing this issue in many different ways through prevention, by providing emergency shelter, and providing services to move people into permanent homes. It is a multifaceted and coordinated approach, even if we do feel like we're in the dark sometimes. But we are finding our way to light, into success and opportunities. I'm proud of one example of this coordinated work in White Center, to open a shelter for families experiencing homelessness, to prevent disruption in education, because we know that too often those children experiencing homelessness are disrupted in school by either changing schools or not attending school. To have shelters for families in communities near schools, in many cases near the schools they're already attending, will increase stability. This shelter will also be staffed with caseworkers and staff to support families and connect to other needed services, allowing them to begin their journey to permanent housing. And through the Youth and Family Homelessness Prevention Initiative within the Best Starts for Kids levy that we're here celebrating today, we will do even more. The partnerships and the resources announced today will be transformative. They will improve lives in every community in the county, and they will protect the most vulnerable. A stable home paired with vibrant communities, healthy environments, and supportive and engaged caregivers will be how we support King County families throughout the levy and throughout our region. It's now my pleasure to turn over the microphone to my colleague, former chair of the council, Councilmember Larry GOSSETT.
And I'd like to begin by thanking Dow Constantine, our executive, and Joe McDermott, the chair of the Martin Luther King County Council, and I have brochures that I'll pass out in a moment of the County Council, because I think we should take every occasion to educate people about what it is that we do on behalf of people here in the county. Since we're at Mother Africa, I want to indicate to folks that based on the research and assessment on who is homeless that County Executive Constantine had us do over the last couple of years, it's sad, but it's true, because we've documented that nearly half of all the homeless people in Martin Luther King Jr. County are of African descent, African Americans or Africa, or this is particularly true for youth, or they are children and families that are very, very poor. So it's incumbent upon us to have groups like Mother Africa, Africa Town, Atlantic Street Center, and REWA, a Refugee Women's Program, that submitted a very superb proposal on how they're going to assist low-income women. And it's very important that all these programs be successful. They are part of the 27 groups that are being funded. We can't pretend, though, at least in my estimation, to think that this effort by itself will end homelessness, but it would help a lot of families who are facing homelessness stay in their homes and hopefully get back on the good foot, if y'all dig what I'm saying. Oh, wait a minute. The executive director of Atlantic Street Center is back there. Yeah. So that's why it gave me a great deal of pleasure to be invited as part of the team that would announce the winners of our homeless prevention program here in King County, and look forward to any questions that you all might have. It's a very serious problem. If you come down to visit us, we got tents all around King County right now because people don't have nowhere to stay. And I'm telling y'all, it is cold out there in those tents. I know because I asked them. I hope nobody thought I stayed in there all night, but it is tough. So we got to keep figuring out in the third richest county and the first richest city in the whole country, what we can do better at ending homelessness. That's our goal, and we're going to keep working at that. Thank you, Councilman. And I'd like to introduce the third colleague from the Martin Luther King Jr. County Council, Dave Upthegrove. He was he was the chair of our budget committee this past year. He made sure that the money for these homeless prevention programs, as well as many, many others, stayed in the budget. Council member.
Well, my name is Dave Upthegrove. I have the honor of representing much of South King County, including where we're standing today on the county council. And, you know, when the sun goes down tonight and it gets really cold, there are going to be more than 5,000 people in King County living in the streets, according to our latest count. And it is getting cold out there. And it's fitting that we're meeting here in South King County, because one of the philosophies that we believe in at the county is to put the dollars where the need is. And we know that when it comes to youth and family homelessness, there is a real need in South King County. When we did our last count, there actually were more homeless youth in South King County than Seattle, about a third more down here. And I didn't know that until the count. So to focus resources on those kids and those families here is important to me, and I appreciate it and appreciate the executive's work. It's also important to me, one of our values is to make sure that everyone is served. And we worked hard to make sure that there's funding available for technical assistance and capacity building for smaller organizations that maybe haven't been established in the community for many, many years. Often that's immigrant and refugee organizations, and we want to make sure that organizations that serve all of our diverse communities are able to receive the county funding and serve those populations. I'm really excited about some of the organizations in South King County that are going to be doing this work. Mother Africa, where we are today, the Somali Youth and Family Club and CTAC, Open Doors for Multicultural Families, the Iraqi Community Center. I could go on and on with these tremendous community partners that is very, very exciting. But the executive today not only announced the funding and the grants for the youth and family homelessness, but he also spoke about housing investments. And earlier this year, the executive and the council worked together to approve funding for investments in housing around transit stops. And today marks that first round of allocating the competitive grants for that housing. And just from that fund alone, there's between 500 and 600 new units of housing. And again, I'm really pleased that more than half of those units are going to be located here in South King County at the Corinthians and SeaTac, the Villages in Tukwila. We're going to see housing near transit. And that's important because we know that one of the largest determinants of economic mobility is access to a job and the ability to get to and from a job. So building affordable housing near transit is a good strategy. They say, I know this is a cliche, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. This Best Starts for Kids approach for youth and family homelessness is new and it's different and it's really cool. Mm-hmm. It's different because, as the executive talked about, it's flexible dollars for those families. So often government money comes with strings attached. You have to meet this criteria. In this case, the caseworkers with these organizations will determine what those kids and their parents need. No strings, no limits. What do they need to prevent homelessness? And they can make the decision between that social worker and that family. That is new, it is different, it is a change, and I think it's going to be successful. Likewise, major new investments in affordable housing near transit. That is a change, that's new, that's exciting. And so it's one of the things I like about this executive is a willingness to try new, big, bold ideas, particularly when it makes a difference in the lives of average folks. Both of these initiatives provide economic stability for average people who are struggling to get by, and I'm proud to be part of a county that's doing that. I have the honor now of introducing a woman that I have come to admire for her work here in the community. I hope to she considers her a friend. Risho Sapano is the executive director of Mother Africa. She's been working here in this space for many years on doing lots with very little. Doing grassroots fundraising is making a huge difference in the lives of the women and families she serves, and this is one of the organizations receiving a grant for youth and family homelessness. So please welcome Risho Sapano.
Well, thank you so much. On behalf of Mother Africa and the communities we serve, I would like to thank you all for selecting Mother Africa to receive this funding. And the communities we serve come from all parts of Africa, and they are refugees here in the United States, and they call Washington and King County home. At Mother Africa, our mission is to build the leadership skills and advocacy, and also community action capacity, and for the refugees and immigrant women, so that they can advocate better for themselves and learn the skills needed for securing better jobs. And the last 3 years, we invested most of our resources to help them to assess their needs and also assess the gaps in the existing services. And we were able to come across like major commonalities between all these African communities, and housing was a major one. And the second one was good jobs, because all these women that you see are, few of them are receiving public assistance. They're all eager to learn English. They're all eager to excel in their jobs, and they're sometimes overworked but underpaid. And there's so many complicated cases that you will hear from our clients today. And we're trying to help them with the information and resources. And now with the Flexible Fund, we'll be able to support them to meet their specific needs so that they can be stable in their homes and thrive in their community. We thank King County leadership for really spearheading all of this and welcoming the refugees and doing the right thing, because other counties are really not welcoming refugees and not doing anything to support them. So we really admire and thank you all for supporting the refugees in the King County. Thank you. I would like to invite two of our clients or participants, I should say, three, with an interpreter, to just share with you as like short stories about how this is important to them as well. So we'll start with Monica from Congo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Monica, the last name, Palamela?
Pumelia. Monica Pumelia.
Yeah. You can tell.
Hello, Lingala, Swahili. Lingala, Swahili, whatever. Bon. Bonjour à tous, je vous salue.
Good morning, everybody. I am saluting you.
Now, nauti na Afrique, Congo. Na sali 10 hours, 10 et demi hours.
I am from Africa, in Democratic Republic of Congo. I've been living here for 2 years and a half.
So na yaki koya na bandi musala na bandi kosala na zui aksida ya premier tour na musala na vandi na sali deuxième tour lisusu na sali aksida na musala sikoyo nazawa na ndako naza na 5 enfants na ndako mwaye zate mwaye ya mbongo akofuta ndako ekomi makasi naza na banyongo ya biloko ebele antukande na moni soki na ye awa na Mother Africa bakosali sangai nde c'est pour cela na ye awa so na ebisa bango eloko eza na motema na ngai.
I am here to tell you what Mother Africa is doing in women's life. I am from Africa, as she said. I have 5 kids. You say 5? I have 5 kids. I found my first job and I had an accident in my job. I stay home for many months. And after that, I had a second accident at work. And right now, I'm staying home with my kids. I don't have money to pay rent. And I'm happy to be with Mother Africa because they will help me with what you give them. Mm-hmm.
C'est pour cela na sepeli mingi pe na pesi bino merci mingi po na ebi bokosalisa biso tokozala ba homeless lisusu te. Merci.
That's why I'm very happy. I'm very happy because you help Mother Africa and Mother Africa will help us, will provide homelessness in my life with my kids. Thank you very much. She wanna add something, yes? Yes.
Nangina loba eloko mususu moko na ba appartement ba mbongo andako eza ebele soki bokosalisa biso na bandako ya gouvernement ekosepelisa biso mingi. Merci beaucoup. Merci.
I want to add, say something about rent. You know, rent is very expensive here. And if you guys, you can build some low-income apartment to help us, that will be very good for African women. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jina yako.
My name is Vicky Folo. I'm from Congo.
Swahili Lingala.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak Lingala because I speak English just a little. That's one I wanted to tell you to understand.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Comment nangeza Vicky Folo?
My name is Vicky Folo.
Nauti Afrique, naza Congolaise.
I am from Africa in Democratic Republic of Congo.
Boebi na Congo bitumba eza batu bazoboma biso somo.
You know, in Congo they are fighting, they're killing people, and that's why we are here.
Yeah. Bon, na yena bana nangana zana bana mibale bazana class.
I have 2 kids, they are going to school.
Bana bazokende classe mais tokomi na difficulté ya trop na makambo ya vie eza très cher pindako eza trop cher en Amerique tozokoka lisusu te.
We are living in a difficult time at the moment because rent is very expensive and my kids are going to school. We are living in very difficult time right now.
So ezala kolia ekomi pasi yango no moni nzamba salaki grâce to yeko kutana na mode Africa. Mode Africa oyo boye eza ko aider biso na mwa makambo ebele.
You know, life is very expensive in America. Yeah. We met with Mother Africa for a long time ago, and Mother Africa is doing a good job in women, African women life in this country.
Yeah. Nakosi binote soki bomonaki example blenge na yaki okotere pa Mode Africa skin nangezala ki boyete.
You know, I don't lie you because when I met with Mother Africa, my skin wasn't like this.
But Mode Africa debiso ya trop pin epesinga moi espoir ya ko vivre po toza to comme ba homelessité.
Mother Africa give me hope of life because Mother Africa is helping me and helping women, African women in building skills what we didn't know.
Tolingi teke lelo peut-être bosunga biso mbalasima bosunga to bo continuer ko sunga biso po tozala to koma ba homelessité bana bakoya ko kata classe so bana bakati classe ekozala bien te pona biso.
As a government, I want you to help us, not just today. I need you to continue helping us in Mother Africa. We want to be homeless in this country.
Yeah.
We want you to help Mother Africa, and Mother Africa will help African women.
Yeah. Bon, toza kaka ndenge ninga nanga lobaki makambo ya ndako ya King Country wana bo meka ko aider biso po tozo kokate ndako eza trop cher ba 1700 1500 na Afrique eza mbongo ebele awa to kokango te bo aider biso please bo salisa biso.
As my friend said that we ask you to help us to build some low income housing that will be helpful for us because rent is very expensive in this country. We cannot afford to pay rent. 1,700 for 2 bedrooms is very expensive.
Please.
Thank you very much.
So Badria is also from Sudan, and she just moved to the United States like a year and a half ago, and she would like to share some of her short story.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hi everybody, ladies and gentlemen. I learn English, but my English very little. And important need now to learn English because this place second country for me, but now first country for me. Because all my life need to stay here. I'm not no English, but I let my daughter to explain by English. أنا بدرية محمد تبن من السودان وخاصة من دارفور.
My name is Badria Muhammad Tibin. I'm from Sudan, specifically from Darfur.
جيت لأمريكا عندي 1.5 سنة الآن وكان عندي 8 أطفال.
I have lived here for 1.5 years and I have 8 kids.
4 هنا عندي معي، الصغار جبتهم والكبار في البلد ما أكبر ما قدرت أجيبهم معي هنا.
For here and for in Sudan, I couldn't bring them to United States.
بس أشكر كل واحد في أمريكا لأنه كان زوجي مريض ساعدوني في مساعدة زوجي ليبلغ الشفاء.
She said, I'm very thankful to all of you in the United States because her husband, which is my dad, is like was sick. He was having liver cirrhosis, liver cancer, and he had a liver transplant and it went successfully. So now he's doing okay.
3 شهور بس قول له هنا جينا المستشفى وكان حتى عشان زوجي أعطونا هاوس في تراي سيتي وجينا لما لقوا الليفر جينا قلنا قاعدين في المستشفى ما عندنا أي مكان.
So when we first came to United States, we were in Eastern Washington, Tri-Cities, and the first 3 months when we arrived to United States, we get housing, we get so many kind of assistance.
بس بعد زوجي لقوا ما في المستشفى اللي جابوه في السويدش لأول مرة نجي للسياتل ما كنا نعرف فيه زول في المستشفى بدلوا له الكبد.
And the only place that he can get a liver transplant that near to Eastern Washington is in Seattle, so we have to come here.
الطريق طبعا هو مع الشتاء كان المراجعات صعبة 12 ساعة ما بنقدر نحصل هنا فقررنا إننا ننتقل أنا وأولادي.
And in winter is really very hard for us to get here. Like last time it took her and my dad 12 hours just to come here.
بعد استوعبوني شهرين في العملية بعد ذاك أنا وأولادي سابوا المدارس كلنا جينا هنا وما عرفنا اللي جينا لماذا أفريقيا.
So after the liver transplant, the hospital make my dad stay for 2 months in Seattle, and then after that, my mom said that it's really hard for him to follow up to his appointments because winter is coming and all of that. So she make all my brothers to stay here. Like we all stay here, and we didn't have a house. So Mother Africa helped us with that.
قال الهاوزنج ما ممكن يتحول إلا ماذر أفريقيا ساعدونا وما كنا عندي دخل زوجي SSI وأولادي كلهم بيدرسوا ما عندي أي مساعدة خير من الحكومة من DHS وبتاع زوجي SSI.
So we were having housing there in Tri-Cities and they say they couldn't transfer it here but Mother African can help us to find a place to stay at.
والإيجارات هنا غالية وكل شيء لكن هي يعني ساعدتنا بقدر ما أمكن لقينا سكن في حتة بعيدة وكونه صعب في الطابق الثالث لكن مادر أفريقيا أيضا ساعدتنا إننا نلقى مكان نلم فيه أولادي.
So the rental here is very, very expensive, but Mother Africa help her to find a cheap house. It's not very cheap, but it's okay. It's not as much as we were expecting. And
قلوا في الطابق الثالث والآن برضو بنبحث قالوا حاط لزوجين إنه يركب فوق لأنه عاملين له العملية.
It's in the 3rd floor, but she said that at least it's better than traveling 12 hours just to get to my dad's appointment.
في الآن يعني مناشدين مصر أفريقيا إنه تساعدنا عشان نلقى مكان أرضي يكون يعني مناسب لزوجي إنه يقدر يعني نطلع ويخش ولأولادي وكده يكون حتى حسي مراجعة زوجي برضو في سياتنا كلهم بعيدة من هنا فمادر أفريقيا دايرين يساعدون.
And she said that now Mother Africa is willing to help her to find a downstairs apartment. So she's very thankful to Mother Africa and to United States and to all of you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everyone who spoke here today, everyone who joined us, all of our community partners, the King County Council, and we have here with us Sheila Capistani, who is really leading kind of the implementation from the county, from the agency, and our Director of Human Services, Adrienne Quinn, is with us as well to help answer any technical questions you might have, and we would now be willing to take any questions.
It was amazing what you said just a moment ago about one question. That, all the research kind of really, if I understood you correctly, comes down to one question. Could you expound on that a little?
Yeah, historically, when governments, well-intentioned, or even nonprofits have set about to fix a problem that they perceive, they construct a program and then try to have the clients come to a place and fit into that particular solution. But what the Gates Foundation and others recognized is that each person's situation, in this case, each person's reason that they might be experiencing housing instability may be different. It might be a health or a behavioral health or an addiction challenge, or it might be a work challenge, an injury at work, for example. Sometimes it's something really simple. You need to get your commercial driver's license renewed, but you don't have the money to do it, or you need an appropriate set of clothes to apply for a job that you might be qualified for, but you won't come across right in that interview if you don't have the right outfit. Those kinds of things are what a caseworker working directly with a family can identify that a one-size-fits-all program would not be able to do. So then the question is, how do you make sure that the money is going to an appropriate use? Well, the agencies have to report back on what the money was used for, and they have to report back on how that kept that family and those kids housed. We are looking not at how much money we're putting in, but how much good we're getting out. We're looking at the outcomes we seek. And that is a change that we're really looking for across our Health and Human Services commitment. This is a very specific example of putting that into action, and again, based on a pilot by Gates and others that was successful.
I had a question about the financial oversight, which you kind of addressed, but how will the county know that this money is going to help homeless people? And it seems like you need things that are, the smaller fixes, you can't pay rent indefinitely.
That's right.
So
That's right. Go ahead.
Would you identify yourself and explain that?
Yes, Adrienne Quinn, ADRIENNE, Quinn, QUINN. I'm the Director of the Department of Community and Human Services for King County. To answer the question about accountability, and so we have actually created a web-based tool for all of the program recipients to enter data into. This has been a very important question. I really wanted to commend Councilmember Larry GOSSETT, who has been very firm in talking about the level of evaluation that he wants for this program. And so we have customized a tool that all of the program recipients will be utilizing to get data. Then what we will be doing is cross-referencing that data in this special tool with the data that the county also has in the Homeless Management Information System. And so what we are ensuring is that people who are receiving this assistance do not wind up homeless. And we will be learning as we go along. And if we find out that people do become homeless, we will endeavor to find out why, which strategies are working, which are not. As part of this program, because it is new, we also have a learning community. And so the last 3 days have been intensive training for all of the providers who are distributing this money. And we will have a learning community that it will be ongoing. The training is being provided by the Washington State Coalition Against Domestic Violence that administered the very successful Gates Foundation program.
Other questions?
Funding source, I think I saw on the way in, I was looking at the material, and it's hotel occupancy.
So on the housing side, so remember the homelessness prevention work is funded from this Best Starts for Kids, because we know it's the first strategy under Best Starts for Kids, because we know making sure kids don't end up homeless is critical to their long-term success. It seems sort of commonsensical, but there's actually a scientific basis for that as well. But on the creation of affordable housing side, there are myriad sources that come together. The County Veterans and Human Services Levy, and that's both the Veterans and Human Services side working together. Federal and state grants. We will have investment in transit-oriented development around stations, and so even though it's not included within this $41 million, there would be cooperation with Sound Transit, for example, as stations are developed to be able to create more housing. What we are doing is identifying the shared goal that we have as a community, and then piecing together the funds that we receive from various sources, federal, state, and local, generous local support from King County voters in order to be able to provide the housing that will start to bend the trend on homelessness.
This might be an Adrienne question, but what kind of coordination will there be with the existing homelessness resources? So people who are, afraid that they'll become homeless might not reach out necessarily to one of these specific agencies.
Well, I'll start by saying, stay right here. The notion of working with trusted entities in the community is something that is not limited to this program. When we rolled out the Affordable Care Act, we sought to engage organizations who already had relationships in the community. When we did the low-income bus pass, the same thing. This is the direction we're going now. We have community partners. We leverage all of that value, all that equity that they are creating in the community to be able to more effectively deliver services. Go ahead.
Thank you. It is integrated with our current homeless services. In fact, within the department, this program is being managed by Kim Dodds, who is within our homeless services program area. And so each of these organizations, part of the contract is for them to do outreach. And one of the reasons why there are so many organizations funded is so that we have broad reach with the program. One of the things that Councilmember Up the Grove indicated is one of the criterias for funding each of these organizations was looking at where were people just prior to becoming homeless. And that was largely in South King County and South Seattle. So you'll see there is a very large number of organizations. The second question we asked was, who are people? And they are people who are immigrants and refugees, African Americans, LGBTQ youth. And so the money is being housed with those organizations that are serving those people before they become homeless.
Great. Others?
I always get a question when I write about the housing investment. I know some of it is you give out this money every year. Can you compare this 41 million to
That is a really good Adrienne question.
what we spent last year on this,
Yes, the transit-oriented development money is completely new. So that is about 500 new units beyond what we were able to do previously.
And I think now you get to see Mother Africa in action. Colleen Fulp is going to lead folks on a tour if they'd like to take a look at services being provided right here. Go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Colleen Fulp. I'm the program manager at Mother Africa. We are going to kind of restructure the room here, so you'll have to give us just a couple of minutes of grace, please. We're going to set up a mock classroom of what classes look like here at Mother Africa. And the classes we've been offering are part of our Economic Empowerment Initiative. Those are employment training classes, financial literacy workshops, and then scholarships for certified nursing assistant training and driving training scholarships as well. So we're going to mock an employment training class today.
Great.
Thank you.
In the meantime, if you may want to see one-on-one interviews, we can do that as well.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.